The covenant is in his peace. To bow and crown him king. Crown him Lords of Lords. Written in the book of creation, written in the book of Psalms. Before it. Kings of kings. Nation man to bow. And crown him Lords of Lords. Of the Holy Trinity, on David throne. Ark of the covenant is in his hand, and he is Selassie. Yeah. Rastafari, Ark of the covenant is with his hand. He's Selassie. God, the covenant is in Zion. Shukran. Rastafari. God am away, Ziggy, be a massive. All I want of creation, King Alpha and Queen Omega. Beginning without no end, first without last. Rastafari. Give thanks to each and every one. It's iritical Iowa. Kings of kings and lords of lords. Crown is the Empress Menen. Crown 1930. 90 years since the coronation, after Lamb Supper, marriage. Glory be to Word Sound and glory be to Iowa. Give thanks. Yes, give thanks and praises, Rastafari, sons and daughters of the Most High, universally, internationally, the Marshal General. Well, today, November 2nd, 2020, this year has been a turbulent year, universally, internationally, locally, all over the world. Babylon unleash New World Order. Yes, 1930, His Majesty was crowned. Haile Selassie the first. So blessed love, sisterins and brethren, home and abroad. I pray that they hide them in a good health. You know what I'm saying? The struggles continue. Many are called, but few and eyes are chosen. Greater David, greatest sons. The Rasta man, the Rastafian and the Rasta man is the true tradition. I is the true Christian. I is the living testimony of anciency. Is I a trad with I turban and I will in this time from them time. But today we want to talk about the 90th anniversary of the coronation of Haile Selassie the first. You know, Revelation 5, you know, in the biblical text what tell I say, but no one in heaven nor beneath the earth, a depth of the sea was worthy to open this book, this seal, you know. And and the revelation is about John the Baptist through a vision where him get from the lamp. The lamp I tell him after new coming of the Christ in flesh. Because we can't look out of God. We can't look for God out of flesh. Now we have to look within it in flesh to see God. Because if we look for God out of flesh, it's illusion. And I don't deal with illusion. I deal with reality. You know what I mean? God dwell amongst that dwelling in man, in the heart of flesh. So we now look for him out of flesh. You know what I mean? We look within God, within I self for God. So we know as a God come amongst earthlings, you know what I mean, from the celestial heavens, come dwell amongst and upon terrestrial earth. So we know the prophecy fulfill of Revelation when the one them see it up in the celestial realms. And through the lamp has already come through this dispensation, ancient time. Christ trod the earth and know say him reincarnate in the Haile Selassie in kingly character. 1930. His Majesty was born in Egeseguar Arar, that is in Ethiopia. The ancient name is Abyssinian. You know, he was born in the mountain top. You know, Ethiopia is said to be above sea levels. You know what I mean? His mother, his father, Makanen and Yeshimabet. You know, get one, she lose 70 in childbirth. And his father got a vision, say, in order for her to conceive, she have to travel up in high altitude. You know, come off of the flat lands and trad up in high altitude. This is why she been losing childbirth, but there's not enough oxygen. So if you go, I went to Ethiopia to visit Egeseguar, where His Majesty born. And that mountain is literally virtual, upright. It's like this, straight up. and below is just pure precipice on the left and the right. So when you're up at Egesegura Mountain, you can actually touch the sky, you can touch the stars and touch the clouds. That's where Makanen and Yeshima go have Haile Selassie the first. Didn't tap. Born 1892. Yeah. But the coronation, the 90th, is significant because 9 is the highest number. After 9, we have to go back to 0. So we have the 9th anniversary. Everything is reconstructing. The earth are reconstruct. Everything is in reconstruction right now. You know what I mean? Everything are reset. Everything are reset. Your chakra, everything are reset. So the 90th anniversary, which is 2020, Ethiopia is actually no. In Ethiopia is 20 is not 2020 in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is 7 years behind. So in Ethiopia is 2013 right now. So them not reach a millennium yet. Only in Western we are tried with the Western calendar. It's 7 years ahead of Ethiopia. Yeah. But the reason what I want to bring forth is the divinity. What does the coronation signifies for His Majesty and the world at large nation? And I know the significance of the coronation is the reincarnation of His Majesty or the Almighty in flesh, because Him not dwell out of flesh now. The invisible and the visible is one. There's no dispute. You know what I mean? Is one. So the Christ that trod the earth again, the conquering lion, come no more to no lamb to no slaughter. So when He came, He was the lamb first. Now He's the conquering lion. Crowned kings of kings, lords of lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, of the Solomonic dynasty, the 225th king. So the coronation is a significant. He's the only king that has been crowned with his empress at a coronation in history. That's for sure the Lamb Supper, the marriage of the Lamb, the perfect balance, king and a queen. Yes, I. So, we have some little jot in here. We just want to read out some of them unto us, a son is born and a child is given. Call him Prince of Peace, wonderful counselor, unlike himself, glorious, throughout all eternity. But I see right now where ones are trying to dispute the divinity of His Majesty because them a look for God out of flesh, which Jah dwell it in flesh. You can't look out of flesh for Jah. I see, and so when He was treading the earth, them crucified Christ, and this man didn't have no blemish. Him tried the earth, come off a mother and father just like me and the eye. Come amongst man, come amongst earthlings. And them still crucify him and choose Barabbas. Them choose the thief and the robber. So we know in this time, even in this dissipation, when even if God come amongst man, come dwell it in the flesh and teach them for kept the 7 commandments, man still gonna try to refuse God. Even when God walk amongst them. You see it? You know what I mean? In the documentary, The Devil's Advocate, the presenter asks the white man why he want to go back to Africa. If they either watch The Devil's Advocate, him asks the white man say he want to go to Zion. What does this mean? Why I want to go to Zion? This is the white man, you know. God, the Devil's Advocate was a documentary where he was questioning the divinity, and the white man in the audience him asked him this question. But you white and you want to say repatriation and you want to go back to Africa. And the white man reply say, he want to go to Zion. Because Rastafari life is Zion, pure and keen and natural and hopeful. And I chant redemption for the people, freedom fighters, truths and rights, equal justice stand for one and all. Out of all nation, him say I'm going to choose one. I'm going to choose one from every nation. We see the Rastafarian in Argentina, we see the Rastafarian in Puerto Rico, we see the Rastafarian in France. Wherever you go in the world, the four corners of the earth, there's the Rastafarian, the gospel is at the four corners of the earth. Whether I'm white, I'm black, I'm Asian, Rasta there in India, Rasta there all over the world. There's nowhere in this world there's not a Rastafarian. The gospel is all over this world. So the white man, the Rastafarian liberty is just a tradition, it's just a liberty. It's just a liberty. Yeah, it's just a liberty where I and I have the Christ liberty. You know what I mean? And in this time, the Rasta man is the true Christ. I and I liberty now is of righteousness and hopefulness. That is I and I liberty. The coronation. I don't want to stray, but I want to go to the coronation. Because the coronation is say, no man on earth, Revelation 5 said, no man on earth or in the heavens or beneath the sea was worthy. And we have voice a weep not, behold, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah shall prevail and open the seven seals. True. And we know say His Majesty crown 1930, where it was given 7 ornaments. And the 7th seal represents the 7 spirits. At his coronation, there was 49 Abona high priests chanting from 7 corners of the earth, 7 corners of the whole temple for 7 days and 7 nights. His Majesty come fulfill that biblical prophecy. And John the Baptist was getting this vision and this message from the Lamb. Now, in his kingly character now, in this time, I see Marcus Garvey as John the Baptist. In this time, this spacious of time, I see Marcus Garvey as John the Baptist. We come with the vision. We tell I about go back to the east, look for the crowning of the Black Christ. And the Black Christ in flesh, we know, is the man who crowned kings of kings, lords of lords, the conquering lion, and that is only one man. When Christ was at the earth, him only get one crown with the crown of thorns, then put some bush and maca around him head. Haile Selassie I get the triple crown. 3 crown signify the whole of Trinity. 3 crown per 1 signify the Trinity. He's the only king that has been crowned with his empress by his side. That 2020, this time, all over the world, people look for answers and solutions. Who is this man that trod from Bozak with his garment dipped in blood? This is a question been asked for centuries. But I and I, the Rasta man, know who is this man with his garment that has dipped in blood. Because I and I trod from Bozrak. I and I the truth cry for press prosecution for thy name. True. The seven spirit of Jah, visible and invisible. The seven hands represent the seven priests. Them 7 times 7 give 49. 49 priests was at the coronation. Signify the coronation. The prophecy of Revelation 5. The 7 days and 7 nights. And 7 psalms. 7 psalms was uttered by the Abuna during this coronation. Psalms 133, Psalms 1, Psalms 2, Psalms 91, Psalms 72, Psalms 91, Psalm 7. All these psalms are of prophecy. In 1930, anyone know what was happening in the world in 1930? In 1930, South Africa was still in apartheid. A lot of the African nations, them never get independence yet. Jamaica never get independence yet. Jamaica get independence 1962. A lot of the world was still under colonial control in 1930 when Haile Selassie was crowned. After His Majesty crowned 1930, him set up the AAU, Organization of African Unity, where him call all of the leaders them of Africa to unite. This was set up in Addis Ababa. This forum was for the African nation to come together as one and stop depend on European and the Western for aid or what have you. We, the Africans, can do it ourselves. This was the initiative of the OAU by His Majesty. The coronation now, I'm going to read something from Marcus Garvey. And the reason why I'm going to read this from Marcus Garvey is to tell the items that Marcus Garvey is John the Baptist in this time. Yeah? Ethiopians includes the appreciation of Ethiopian Asian civilization as well. This is Marcus Garvey. His role in the Bible to black. Africans interchangeable with Ethiopian, which is the ancient name for Ethiopia is Abyssinian. Became glorious through biblical holy land of Zion. The recognition of African roots and the desire of repatriation has been central theme in the world black religion since the emancipation became the black righteousness, pro-slavery propaganda, pro-slavery, because in this time, enough of the African nation them was still in colonization 1930. Yeah. World War II was fighting, I think was 1940s. Yeah. When Europe fight against them each other. A lot of independence never come yet in African country. It's way after them get independence. Jamaica get independence 1962. When His Majesty formed the OAU and brought all of the leaders, them leaders like Kwame from Ghana, man like Mugabe, Nelson Mandela, Gaddafi where them kill, India Amin, all these great men, the Western kill all of them. All of them man the way His Majesty call, the Western kill all of them off, kill them off. The last standing hero in Africa was Mugabe. And you know him dying recently. He was the last standing one. All of the man them was His Majesty call for organize Africa. The Western government then pick them off one by one and get rid of them. The reason why them get rid of them, because they had, what I call it now, an agenda given to them by His Majesty of to organize and centralize Africa together. The Western don't want this, to see I and I unite, which is I and I divine. For I and I African to unite is our divine destiny. So anytime we come together, there's always some sort of ism and schism to break up that unity with amongst I and I as Africans. You know what I mean? Is either the Western them aid the opposition. That if I attack what the West don't want for hear, the more aid the opposition, you know. Same black brother, the more give him ammunition and guns and finance to get rid of me and push the opposition policy, whether it's right or wrong. If what me I talk about is not with what them I say, this is what them do with all of the African leaders. Them try to demoralize them, try to bring them name to shame. Yeah. I want to share this YouTube with some people. Let me share this. 1 second. Marcus Garvey. The reason why I say Marcus Garvey is John the Baptist in time. Because John the Baptist didn't get the vision of the coming. Marcus Garvey also get the vision as well. See? Marcus Garvey, since the people, Marcus Garvey, back to Africa movement, developed the spirit of Ethiopia to its fullest extent. Since white people have their God through the white spectacles, we only started our leg to see our God through our own spectacles. The God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, let him exit for the race, believe in the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob. Believe in God of the Ethiopian, Abyssinian, the everlasting God, the Son, the God, the Holy Spirit of all ages. That is God within we believe. We shall worship him through the spectacles of Abyssinian. And I know say the Ark of the Covenant is in Addis Axum City. Ethiopia is the only African country that has never been colonized. Why? A man ever asked himself why Ethiopia has never been colonized? Muslim bomb Ethiopia and poison the soil them. And poison the water and poison the lands, poison the fruit trees. Two-time Muslim Ethiopian, Italy attack Ethiopia, defenseless people. Poison the water, kill off thousands of people. 300 priests them kill off. Muslim them kill 300 priests. Slaughter them. Yeah. Garvey words plant the seeds of Black Christ movement from the USA to the Caribbean, stressing the superior of the ancient African dignity of the Black race. He inspired many successful nationalist movements in numerous African leaders from Kenyatta to Nyeri. Kenyatta was the president of Kenya, and Nyeri was the president of Tanzania. Marcus Garvey was born in St. Anne's, Jamaica, 1887, descend from fierce proud Maroons. He founded the newspaper Negro World, which took onto his motto the nationalism, one God, one aim, one destiny. He founded the UN Negro Improvement Association Harlem. His aim was to describe the speech and delivered by the Marcus Garvey Foundation in Margaret Square, New York. The Universal Improvement Associates represent the hopes and aspirations awakened in the Negroes who desires for the place in the world, not to be disturbed with character of their men, but to lay down and burden and rest our weary backs and feet by the banks of Niger, and sing our song and chant for the hymns to our God of Ethiopia. So Marcus Garvey was a deal with reparation. going back to Africa. This was his vision because he wanted to go on the Niger banks, go chant to the god of Ethiopia, which Revelation 5 tell I and I these things. Just like John the Baptist didn't get the vision, so did Marcus get it in this time. The slogan Africans for Africans was well by the Black Star Line, a company established trade, eventually carried new world blocks to Africa. The prophet of African redemption was not always successful in the countless business venture, but by the 1920s, Garvey was the more powerful leader among the black masses in the United States. The reason why I read that of Marcus Garvey is that from them time, the Marcus I tell I if return home. You know what I mean? Because Africa is for the Africans. The whole of the West, the Caribbean is not our homeland. England, America, them places is not our land. The Black King has crowned kings of kings and lords of lords. Now, the 90th anniversary, 9 is the highest number. So we have to go back to 0 and start again. Reset. Everything I reset. The moon now, I come out of Ari when a blue moon. And blue represent a balance. Blue is a balance color. We have to find balance in this time because everything I reset. The earth I reset. And the whole alignment for the universe I reset. His Majesty was crowned Nigos, Haile Selassie, which means the might of the whole of Trinity. When His Majesty was born, him take on this title 1930, but at his baptism, when he was born the third day, him actually had this name already, you know, Haile Selassie the first, Nigos Guinness. 3 days after him born, him, the Abuna them give him this baptism name by the Catholic Church. But he took on this title when him crowned 1930. So him already have this name. It was divine from birth. Him took it on and fulfilled the prophecy 1930. Even though when he was born, his baptism name was Nigos Haile Selassie the first at a 3 days after him born. But him only took on this name, Haile Selassie, when him sit down upon the throne of David and Solomon. The Solomonic dynasty, 1930, fulfilling the biblical prophecy, the Lamb that was worthy to open the book and the 7 seal thereof, and crown kings of kings and lords, conquering line of the tribe of Judah. And why the Solomonic dynasty? There's a lot of dynasty in the world. Not only the Solomonic, there's dynasty in, you have the Ashanti dynasty, you have dynasty in Sudan, you have all type of different dynasty over the world. But why the Solomonic dynasty? The Solomon dynasty is where the pearl is. The pearl, what we will find on it, the pearl, the chosen one then. Yeah, the chosen one. It only transcends certain time. And the Solomonic dynasty end at His Majesty, the 225th king of Abyssinian. So we can see the divinity and what that's now the biblical prophecy of the fulfillment of Christ in his kingly character. in flesh. Because we can't look out of flesh for God. You know? We have to look within flesh because God dwell amongst I and I. Come here upon earth from the terrestrial realms and come amongst man. You know what I mean? So when I look for God out of man, we look for God to dwell amongst I and I. You know what I mean? The four corners of the earth now you can go. The Chinaman, Mexican, I say Rastafari, you have everywhere in the world, Argentinian, you have Russians. Once a Rastafari, the gospel is already heard four corners of the earth. True? Yeah. Because unto us a son is born and a child is given, called Prince of Peace, Wonderful Counselor, and like man himself. You know what I mean? But enough and I get distracted, you know, in this time. Really and truly we get distracted. You know what I mean? The earth and the governors and the people that are govern the earth. Because there's always a fight between good and evil, you know. You know what I mean? There's always gonna be a villain and there's always gonna be a hero. You know what I mean? It's like negative and positive. You know what I mean? Them go together. The light them for come on, you have to have negative and positive energy for your light them come on. For your car to start, for it ignite, it have to have two contrasting things for ignite. Your engine come on. So I saw the atmosphere work. You know what I mean? You have to have heat and water and wind and all of these things. Them work together. But what them do, them find a common ground to live together in harmony. So what I try to say is that in earth, there's always gonna be obstacles and there's always gonna be one who will come tell I and I these things and enough people not gonna even listen said we. You know what I mean? Enough people are gonna see the truth and not even want to hear the truth because the truth not sweet to him. You know what I mean? And that him want to hear. These will be the reality. You know what I mean? Just like when them crucify Christ and choose Barabbas. And Barabbas start to rule over them now. But yet still, them come give I a guy with blue eye, white guy, long hair guy. I don't know who is that. Because him tell us him have the skin of a burn brass. And when you burn brass, you get black. So how comes them a come show and it's blue eye, white guy? That is Christ. And Christ is a liberty. You can have Rasta the Christ. Just like how you have Jesse the Christ, or Yahshua the Christ. You can have Rasta the Christ, because Christ is actually a liberty. You know what I mean? Just like Rastaman is the true Christian. Now for people them talk about them are Christian. The Rastaman is the only true Christian. Because the Rastaman is the only one with the anciency. The Rastaman is the only one with the Solomonic dynasty, with the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant reside today in Aksum City, Ethiopia. One virgin say, oh, I want to see the Ark of the Covenant. You see, I and I, we're not even worthy to see the Ark of the Covenant. I'm going to tell you why. When I was a youth, I shut up and a Rasta man look at me and tell me, say, 7 years. I have to do 7 years for my purge. All of them meat and all of them things that I have to cleanse me here for 7 years. Before me worthy if you come even talk about Haile last year. I'm not worthy enough. That was our elder Rasta man tell me, say, I have to purge myself at least 7 years before I can come talk the king name. Cleanse myself, cleanse my thought, cleanse my meditation. That change out the whole of them thing there. A man say, I want to see the ark. You're not worthy, my lad. You're not worthy enough. You know what I mean? The ark is a sacred thing. Enough of the things them when I take them sacred enough. You know what I mean? And enough ones don't see His Majesty as Christ in liberty. But me I show you why His Majesty. I gotta read out some. It's all of these. I read them out. These are all the attributes and titles of His Majesty given to Him by all different nations. The conquering Lion of Judah, His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie, Kings of Kings, Lords of Lords, Elect of God, Emperor of Ethiopia, Defender of the Faith, and Defender of all faith. Every faith in the world, His Majesty is the head of them. Is the head of the Muslim faith, is the head of the Christian faith, whatever faith Him is. All of them give Him the authority as the defender of all faith. It's not I say it is written. Defender of the earth, Grand Garden of the Order of Solomon, Knight and Grand Cross of the Order of Solomon, Knight of the Order and Carter, 1954, Grand Knight the Cross of the Order of Bath, Honorable, Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St. Michael and St. George's, Royal Victorian Chain, 1930, Fleet Marshal Honorable of the British Army. And when he say Fleet Marshal General, if His Majesty was to come to England today, the army and the general of the army, all of them powers will denounce because His Majesty will be higher than them. The army would have to answer to His Majesty. This is what it's saying. He's the Fleet Marshal General of the British Army. And I say it, and I say it. It is written. So if he was here today, the army powers, as long as him touch British soil, the whole entire army, both man and woman, whatever stripe them have, them stripe only God and His Majesty. Them would have to take orders from Haile Selassie the first. You see it there? It's written. Doctor of Law of Cambridge, Doctor Civil Law, Grand Cross of the Order of the Legion of Honorable France, Order of the Ammunition Order of Italy, Order of the Mark of Italy Republic, Order of the Golden Lion Luxembourg, Order of the Seraphims Sweden. Order of the Seraphim is one of the most holiest you can bestow upon a flesh. Sweden give him that. Order of the Seraphims, Order of the Elephant Denmark, Grand Color of the Carl Spain, Order of the Savior Greece, Order of Leopold Belgium, Order of the Sovereign USSR, Order of St. Olfrid Norway, Order of the Star Yugoslavia, Order of Aztec Eagle Mexico, Order of the Republic First Class Sudan, Order of the Sebastian Gulami Brazil, Order of the Lion of Netherlands Holland, First Military Order of the White Lion Czechoslovakia, Order of the Military Federal Republic of Germany, Ribbon of the Grand Order of the Order of Christ, St. James Avis, Portugal, Honorary Doctor of Law by the following university: Athens, Greece, India, Moscow, USSR, Czechoslovakia, Colombia, Michigan, USA, University of the West Indies, Montreal, Canada, Honorary Doctor of Agriculture, Germany. His Majesty that of the highest order known to any flesh at all you can think of. And I may say it is written. Yeah, so the reason why I bring up all of them things, enough ones that know them things about Haile Selassie the first. Them think it's just Rasta man a chant and smoke weed and that's a yellow king. 4 corners of the earth, whether I'm there in a Colombia, whether I'm there in a Brazil, whether I'm there in a Mexico, whether I'm there in a Yugoslavia, whether I'm there in a France, them give him the order, crown him kings of kings, lords of lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of himself and elect of God in flesh. Now look out of flesh for God. Yeah, illusion that. We're not dealing with no illusion, we're dealing with reality. Born of a mother and a father, just like the eye. In real life. The government must be up on his shoulder. I want to talk about the government. Enough Rasta man don't want to talk about government. These are what the Marcus Garvey tell I. This is what the majesty. The people is the government. The people is the government, you know. It's not the government is the people, you know. It's the people is the government. It's simple. We is a government within a government. So all these people that take orders from the government, them don't know what the people is the government. Them do it back to front. We want a righteous theocracy government. You have the democratic government, the Arthurian government. There's no theocracy government. Where's the theocracy government? Nowhere in the world there's a theocracy government. Haile Selassie Manakar was the only theocracy government on earth. Be a Democrat. Man, I said them a Democrat, them a Arthurian. Where's the theocracy government? Where is the theocracy government? We need a righteous government for government. 90th anniversary of the coronation, 1930. His Majesty came here to England in exile when Mussolini invaded Ethiopia. Exiled for 5 years and returned to Ethiopia in 1940. Ethiopia is the only continent in Africa never been colonized. We are protected by the Ark of the Covenant, which part God dwell. No matter how much weapons that form against I and I shall not prevail. It is sealed and signed in the celestial heavens. The elders, them, no one on earth, beneath the earth, now beneath the sea, was worthy to open seal, the 7th seal. Is only Rastafari, Haile Selassie, was worthy, was found worthy, even amongst the elders, them, was seated up in the celestial realms. And John the Baptist cried, and the Lamb said, weep not, because the conquering lion shall prevail. And the prevail was 1930 when him crown now the whole world see him now. The whole world see the coronation of His Majesty. 1930, most of Africa in this area. Nothing get independence yet. Jamaica never independence. The British them down there slave like hell them time there. In America, racism. In South Africa, black people in the one country couldn't go in certain places in South Africa. They imprisoned Nelson Mandela 27 years after that. After His Majesty called all of them and school them. And the man them say, boy, You know what say Africa for Africa. White man don't want to hear these things. Don't want to see I and I unite. That is our divine destiny for I and I unite. Anytime Africa unite, then all I and I problems will be over. Yeah, that is I and I divine destiny. We must unite by any means necessary. And right now, we need a reconstitution because we reach 9, which is the ice, and 90. And we know the chakra, 9 chakra. So we know we need to reset. So we need a reconstitution. Yeah, we need a reconstitution because we need a theocracy government. We need a theocracy government. You know what I mean? The way I and I, even as Rastafarian ones, look at government, we need to reconstitute enough of them things because enough of the years like no one run for government, no one deal with politics. You know what I mean? Them call it politics, but the people is the government. Is not the government is the people, you know. Is the people is the government. So if we don't have representation, we're not getting no representation. Well, let's get up tomorrow and all kind of things just up, all kind of laws are passed and we never did it. No one never did that represent I and I. The man them in a parliament I represent themselves. We not have no representation in a parliament. Where's I and I representation? We have no representation. Marcus Garvey tell I so if we have a government within a government. Enough people are saying, oh, if we go vote for what? Only vote I and I go vote. I never vote for my band. Them don't have enough money for PI for vote. Because there is no theocracy government. Righteous government one to govern I and I with the laws and ordinance of the Ark of the Covenant, which is the 7th seal. Revelation 5 tell I and I this. If there's no more other government can govern the earth. So all of these puppet government are run the place right now. I'll just oppress the item because no choose Barabbas again. You know, go vote for Barabbas to rule over and then not ball and complain. A Barabbas a rule over the item. And this I want to shoot and go vote for Barabbas, you know. And puppets for that to go vote for. We never vote for theocracy government. We fight against the Rasta man all the time. And say the Rasta man attack and they're foolish. So people don't even want to go back to Africa. I mean, I have nothing to tell them but Africa is I and I home. Same thing with Marcus in that preacher, the same thing I and I come preach. Because that is I and I roots. Africa is I and I roots. And the reason why the reason why I say Africa is I and I roots, I go and tell you because I jot down something. Africa already facing Mama Gideon, you know. I and I in Africa, we already face I and I Amagideon. Them rape and rob I and I. Them kill I and I, them kill I and I papa, rape I and I mama. You know what I mean? We face I and I dehumanization, we face invasion already. We face all kind of barbarism, you know what I mean? We face all of them Armageddon again. Then give them poison with silent Africa already. Them all kind of vaccination. Them bring AIDS, them come there. Them bring all kind of thing already in Africa. What them can bring from Africa again? You tell me what else they can bring to I and I, which I and I, the black people, has never faced already. Tell me which one of them can bring again. Our Armageddon has already faced already. Your Majesty tell I and I that already. So we face I and I Ahmed Gideon already. The only thing I and I need to do is to unite. We face all of the Gideon and the warfare, them bring them to Africa already. Them bring poison the bomb, them poison the water, them poison the land, them rape I and I, them loot out I and I, them bring all kind of invasion, all kind of them, you name it, them done it to Africa, them do it to I and I already. The only thing what I and I need to do is to unite. That is our divine destiny. His Majesty and that. All of the civil rights movements, them from Black Panther to Malcolm X to all of them. All of the rioting and all of them things there. We face them already, Jack. We just need to unite. All of the young youth, them have a message for the whole of the eye them. Trust me, I have a message for the eye them. Because, you see, I and I sons and daughters over the world. The seed has been planted the four corners of the earth, you know. That chosen one from every nation. Yeah, him chose one from every nation. You know what I mean? Them cannot deny the king. You know what I mean? 72 nations bow before him, 49 elders and priests them chant 7 days along. This is a prophecy. The 7 spirits them, the 7 horns them, the 7 trumpets them. You know what I mean? This is revelation. You know what I mean? So we know the divinity of the king. You know what I mean? The Rasta man is the only right tradition. We are not a religion, man. It's a way of life, you know, natural. You know what I mean? All over the world, Rasta man are lawyers, doctors, you know. We are teachers, we are musicians. Rasta in all professions. 4 corners of the earth, them. Rasta in every profession they can think of. Right now. In all colors, in all races. You know what I mean? My encouragement then now is that you see all of the people them want to talk about Black Lives Matters and all of these things. If you stop build up Babylon, when you get in education, when you get in master's degrees, when you get when you sing in a big tune, them all of the musicians them will sing them big tune and get all of them big money, whether in a pounds and whatever, you know, if you come build up Africa. When if you come build up on a motherland. All of these youths who are studies now feel like say Babylon are go welcome uno. Or now, whether you born here in England or born in USA, them not from your skin is black. Whether you have a British passport or an American passport, you're not welcome there. And you will never be welcome there because it is not your land. It is not your ancestral land. Look for Africa. Them big 20,000 or 40,000 pound car on our drive. And go build up Africa. Africa awaits its creators. Because we were taken out of there and brought in the Caribbean. Them don't want I and I in England. Them don't want I in America. Them don't want we in France. You know what I mean? So why we are build up all of these places? You see what happened to the Windrush? Them carry after the war, World War II when everything mashed down. Them carry over here for build up and then them tell them don't want we again. So how long we not go build up Babylon? A tear if you tear down Babylon, you know. We not build it up more and more. A tear if you tear down Babylon. Now for the youths them want to fight against them each other is because I tell you I them. Enough of them youth are last. Them last. Them last. In Britain, we don't have nothing but the black carrigan. Black history don't teach in UK. So the youth them don't know. Only thing them know about is slavery. Before slavery. Them teach and I about the white God. Where's your black God? Where's your black king? Where's your king? Where's your king where you can identify yourself with? We crown kings of kings and lords of lords, the conquering line of tribe of Judah. I like of himself and light of the world. Get all of them. Where's your king? Enough one say, oh, his majesty dead and man them a worship dead man and way blah 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 and dead. Tell her this. For me, know for myself. A righteous man never dies. That's what I mean, know. A righteous man never dies. None of we not come after for turn stone. We all must transcend. We're only passing through earth. You see him blue eye white Christ where them a carry go. Where him there? Him not there. Him come from 2000 and all them can't come. Them crucify him. A righteous man never what? Die. So one can go on like say the Rasta man a idiot. The Rasta man is is the true Christ. Is the Rasta man a tried with them turbine and wool this time, and the Rasta man have the ancient liberty. From them time there to this time, Rasta man live it in a change. No matter how the era change, him live it in a change. The audience remain the same. The audience of Jah remain the same. Love thyself as thy neighbor. That not change. No matter how much time pass, that not change. The audience still remain the same. So we now look for Jah out of flesh. So today, all of my brethren them assisting internationally, locally, home and abroad. I tell the item for unite. Yeah, that is my message. The item of unite. If we put on petty differences and unite, we fight with Armageddon already. We fight against one another already. Them thief and robbery, them rape and rape, them thing from recession and everything. We go through all of them things that we always affect these things. All we need to do is unite together. That's all we need to do. That is our divine destiny. Come together as one aim, one destiny. Marcus Garvey will come back with the prophecy of John the Baptist in this time and tell I and I the same thing. We now look out ourselves for Jah. Because we now look for no man to come save I and I from the sky. It's I and I have to save I and I selves. We have to save I and I self. His Majesty come teach I and I the liberty. Show him say, boy, Jah can come amongst I and I in a flesh and keep the commandments them. Teach I and I how to pray. When the Muslims invade Ethiopia and we capture the prisoners of war, because in war you have a casualty and the prisoner of war, you know His Majesty tell the Ethiopians them, he will not render evil for evil. He gave them two ultimatums. Either them stay in Ethiopia, well, build back the country, or them can go back to Ethiopia. This is unlike man itself. A man poison you, kill off your family, poison your water, kill off your nation. And you still find it in your heart to forgive him. Now in these times, we can't even forgive your one brother and sister. You know what I mean? We find it hard to forgive. And we must see forgiveness. That's we also can be forgiven in reality. This for sure say His Majesty is unlike man. Because if a man, if Jah was like man, enough of man that dead. Because of the thing them do amongst themselves and amongst man themselves itself. When His Majesty come to the League of Nations and beg to them and I show them say boy, the aggression we ma face from the race, the fascists them. Everyone mock and jeer him. They mock and jeer him until it came to their doors. This is when them say boy, this man is a tyrant. Them say Mugabe is a tyrant, but yet still a tyrant because him no want to do the British, them want to do him to do. Them just want to come just do what they, if you don't obey with it, them call it tyrant and all kind of things. But may I tell my brothers and sisters them internationally and locally, home and abroad, for I night. Now two a man come from Ghana and the next man come from Tanzania and next man come from Malawi. Well, we are one. This is the teaching of His Majesty. We are one. Give I and I the teachings of Rastafari, we all our problems eradicate. We don't want no more Babylon teachings. We want the teachings of His Majesty, Theocracy, government. And that the teachings they want righteous government. We don't want a Democrat government. We don't want an Arterian. We want Theocracy government. Give I and I the teaching of His Majesty, Christ in His kingly character. Yeah, that the teachings that we want. If we prepare, if we fail to prepare, you know, yeah. Africa waits is we want to burn up corruption amongst all of these leaders, home and abroad. We want to burn out corruption, eradicate corruption. Out of the puppet government, them want to run Africa and run the Caribbean. We want to eradicate them. It's now time for I and I, who the Rasta man who have the Solomon dynasty take up office. All these educated youths now with the knowledge of Marcus Garvey. All these civil rights who want to repatriate for self to Africa and the African government, them known was to them to free up all borders for Africa. We don't want no more borderline in Africa. The borderline them came with the Europeans them when them divide up Africa because them want to stop fight them with one another. We don't want no more borderline in Africa, Rastafari no. Free waterway of movements of I people. So we want to reset because we're in a reset mode right now because we reach 90 and we have to go back at zero to come back up again. So everything have to go reset and get a perfect balance. So all of them borderline, they want to get rid of them natty dread. We want to eradicate them out of Africa. These borders by French, borders by Germany, borders by Netherlands, borders by England. We want to get rid of the border them. Get rid of tribalism. One aim, one destiny. That is the matter of Marcus Garvey with John the Baptist in this time. Marcus Garvey is John the Baptist in this time. We want to restore the monarchy as well. Because the government is up on his shoulder. You know what I mean? Right now, now being get chant all over the world. The first Rasta man, Leonard P. Howell. This I draft a constitution in 1998 down at Jamaica. I tell the people them, so them is the government, you know. It's not the government, not parliament. You know, if I want me to preach this, I tell people say, is I and I is the government. The people is the government. It's simple. Marcus Naga show and I the blueprint. The Rasta man come tell and I. The Rasta man is the only man who have the answers, you know. The Rasta man, enough things what the Rasta man I tell I and I from youth and this time it come to pass. Everything what the Rasta man say come to pass. There's not one thing what the Rasta man say hasn't come to pass. Long time the Rasta man I tell I and I about vaccination and the new world order. You see it come to pass. Ethiopia is 2013 right now, 7 years behind. All of them new world order and vaccination. Certain places in Africa, the African nation them now take on Western philosophies and listen to the Western leader them. I tell I and I say no, certain countries have to get this vaccination. The whole I and I in Jamaica have them brand we like dog already. See there? We have brand. Everybody who born in Jamaica have a brand already. And give all kind of joke poison them put in our system. Yeah, I see them poison I and I. Them telling you if you check the history, when them carry some vaccination going to Africa, South Africa, them carry AIDS and all of the poor of them kill off all of people. Now, this new order coming, they now get for work. If you don't take them vaccination now, them a push for most people now, because you know the slave, you know what you have all type of slave. You have the old slave and the field slave them. And some of the slave them will sell out. They want to take vaccination because they want them nice job and they want to pay for them fancy car and pay for their mortgage. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so some of them now will take this vaccination because them now go have no job. And some of them now left England or America, you hear them attack because them say Africa is a shit world, like what Donald Duck said. Because them don't want to go back to Africa, them have all kind of problem. But them with the knowledge, no one come help build up Africa and them only want to criticize. And Marcus Garvey tell us that the first critics is the man in the mirror. That Marcus Garvey said that every critics I forget our next critics. And some people them criticize Africa, them no one even want to go Africa. Them rather forgot Spain. Them rather forgot Europe, spend their money and carry them go all over the place, go send them pound. No man no want to invest in Africa. And so I say, yes, enough man build all them big nice fat house at Jamaica and can't live night because gunshot will take them 24/7 night. You know what I mean? Them can't live in peace. Africa we forgot. Go build up Africa. Africa we forgot. Stop delaying a Babylon. No for no go dead here in the coal and bury under the coal ground them. Your ancestors is not happy if you're not dead and buried in the coal ground them run in England. I, the younger generation, we have to break the cycles and this phobia of not going back to Africa. You know what I mean? Because all of the great kings them come from Africa. You know what I mean? The youngest youth them, you know how brilliant I youth is. The youngest youth right now is 6-year-old of the university at Oxford. And what them do, when all I youth them rise up with so intellect them, you know what the big company do them take them away. Carry them go take them up and give them scholarship and own them, and they don't want to send them back to Africa. Carry them and go work for Microsoft and all these big companies. When them know them have knowledge and thief them ideas. We must stop doing these things. You know what I mean? We must stop sell out. We must stop sell out. Money is not always the answer, it's not always the solution. You know what I mean? We must stop sell out. You know what I mean? It's like one man go sell out. It's like the corruption politician. Not for we can say we want money, yes. One man go sell out him take $20 million. Him and him family and him pitney all right, but the rest of the people them hungry. That no make it. The great prophet Bob Marley say, if him get up one day and him can't help somebody, him no worthwhile living. I'm a believe in that. If me can't help somebody, no worthwhile living. We must stop sell out. Yeah, we must stop sell out. Yeah, we must stop sell out, man. Money is not always the answer and the solution. Enough man dead with the money, you know. Money can't buy salvation. Money can't take it to Zion. See? Because Zion is a place where no sinners cannot enter there. Your money and your passport can't carry you to Zion. The red book cannot carry you to Zion. It's only with a clean hands and a pure heart. That is the only way. So we must stop sell out each other. Yes, so we give thanks for the coronation of the Lamb Supper. We give thanks. The 90th anniversary of the King. 50 odd years now since His Majesty come to Jamaica in 1966. You know, after the coronation, a lot of African countries get independence. Some in the 40s, some in the 30s, some coming up to the 60s. But the coronation started like coronation of the King is like Africa reborn again. 1930, the coronation, it started movements in Africa and the Caribbean. For Noah say the black man king come in his Christly character. Jamaica get independence 1962. And it's because of the coronation of the king. Because the Rasta man exists from long time from the plantation and the cities thing, the manifestation. And the Rasta man main chanting is repatriation. Enough man say we now get repatriation. But we must give thanks to the pioneers, them who want them who met the chat before made chats. All of them who step the step forward and say, boy, Africa for Africa, that is what made His Majesty teacher and I. You know what I mean? Everything, the world, Africa, the world feed off of Africa, you know. The reason why them kill Gaddafi is because Gaddafi get his teachings from His Majesty. And him have the blueprint, just like Nelson, just like Mugabe, just like Nkrumah, just like Neri, just like Kenyatta, Indian. All of them man are the great man. The West them kill them off. And I make up this, you know. Yeah, and Rasta I said this, you know. The Western kill off all of them. Because them have the blueprint of His Majesty when they out. And the Western never want that to come into place. African unity and African United Nation of African. That them no want. So this is my at the 90th anniversary of his coronation. This is my message to the nation and the black people of the world. And I must unite. Yeah. If you know, say Africa, all I know billionaires, enough rich boy there in America. I talk about Black Life Matters. Make it matter in Africa. And they say it matter. All of them rich boy there with millions sitting and buying big fancy car and build up Rome and build up Babylon. Yeah, man, him pick me alright, but what to the rest of the people then? Let's go to Africa. So may I say, Africa waits I and I this day, henceforth and forevermore. You know what I mean? The one them in the West, them now build be a big house. But build them Africa Rasta. Stop spending the money in the Western hemisphere. All I know musician, I beg the eye them to build up Africa. And that's the glory there. And that's where you get your glory. And that's where you get your majesty. And that's everything there. There's no glory in the West. No glory in the West. No glory in the Western hemisphere. No glory in the Western hemisphere. The whole of the youth them a go astray. The whole of them a go astray. The youth them now go out for play no more. Everything is online. No more socialization. It's just be online. Warm to fresh air. Warm to the breeze and the atmosphere. Warm to the universe. And that's a nature work, you know. You have to be at one with nature and nature at one with you. So we say we there at 9 and everything will go reset again, you know. Yeah, everything will reset. No fire 9 I'm gonna make it back home, you know. No fire 9 I'm gonna make it back home, you know. But somehow I still have the chance to make it back home. So may I tell the item for come home. Yeah. Africa, may I tell the item for go. But I have nothing else to tell no man, you know. Not for my bridge them a call me. Say, well, go on, man. I be Africa, may I tell them about. Be Africa. You see, the day when me could have traveled to Africa, which is one of my greatest time, you know, say, boy. Really and truly, this is where my ancestors come from. This is my land. Yeah. So the youth them want run up and down and shoot them one another with Babylon gun and Babylon ammunition. When the spirit of go roam in a room and I cold. Cause now I get no salvation in I cold ground on there. So we don't find no dead and buried in them. No find my parents, no find my mother, no find the father buried down in I cold. No find the pit of them buried there. You see what I say? Yeah. We are people of melanin. We need sunshine. No fun have suffer from deficiency that is sunshine. So for the 90th anniversary, we are the reach number 9 and everything are going to reset because we're in a reset mode. Ethiopia is 7 years behind and we are looking at 7 years more. A lamentation. So the things so we don't feel nothing yet. The things are not feel nothing yet. The things are nothing change. The things are nothing change from Rosa Park at time when when we ride in the bus and all them things. Not change. Not for to get comfortable in a Babylon. Not change around here. Nothing don't change. The people them in all of the big job, them most of them is not I and I. Everything is a front right now. Don't be fooled. There's only one true kings of kings and one true lords of lords, the conquering lion. And it's Haile Selassie the first. I see, yeah, the most ancient monarchy. Lion, pay that number chat there for. Yeah. And
Yeah, yeah. speak to the world tonight and today and every day, present, past, and future, telling the world of the truth and the rights that existed in this earth long, long, long time before miseries came to the earth.
Truly.
Every time that a creator trod the earth, or the creator trod to a certain structure,
Ross Michael.
there's always skepticism and people saying, is this the God?
Is this
How
the
is
God?
walking on earth in the days of Christ,
Truly.
when he was among the people, healing them,
Truly.
doing good for them?
Truly.
They said, he does good.
He does good.
Is he the Son of God?
He's the Son of
And
God.
they stoned him.
Stone
And he
him
said,
to
is it
death,
for
said
my
we.
good works? Why you stone me? And they said, no,
No.
but because thou art a man and make it thyself God. Jah Rastafari trod through this earth and been trotting through this earth for many, many thousands of years. Long before there was America, when there was no England, no France, no Scotland, no Wales, when the earth didn't have any name, when it was peaceful.
Exactly.
The Rastafari been trotting through different structures. And the Creator trod through many, many names from different times, and he come in different forms.
Truly.
And before we go further, the word is an Amharic word, which means power of the Holy Trinity.
True.
And the power of the Holy Trinity must be God.
Exactly.
And he's also the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah and the light of the world. So there's no argument about that.
No argument.
Argue that.
3 days after him born, him get that name.
Why the Rastafarian is here and what they're here to do. Many thousand years ago, or many hundreds years ago, there was no black people in the Western Hemisphere. They were all in their peaceful habitation in the land of their forefathers.
I've been saying
They were
that.
very kind people, and people were helpless. We try to show them love and to show them civilization.
That is I and I. We love, black people love show love.
Flow down the river Nile.
Yeah, we now stop show love.
We welcome them and show them love.
Yes.
And they come into our country.
Yes.
Our country,
Yes.
invade our country.
Yes.
Take away our people and take them to the Western world and have them in captivity.
Yes.
But little did they know that when they were taking our people to the West, they were taking the Rastafarians as well.
Yes.
Before we came to the Western world in our forefathers' lines.
Truly.
To be born at this time, to stand up for the rights of our people. And we are here mystically and mysteriously. So many people say the Rastafarian movement was started in 1930 because that's what they think. But the Rastafarian movement been going on the slave plantation from all those slave rebellions coming up. It was the spirit of the Rastafarian at the earlier stage.
True.
And it come right up to Marcus Garvey.
Which is John the Baptist in this time.
In Jamaica, and it burned in America. And it
True.
burned all over Europe.
True.
And it also light up Africa, that the Africa become independent. And Marcus Garvey was also Rastafarian at the earlier stage.
True.
And so it's many other brethren.
For Rastafari is not a year, it's a liberty. It's a liberty.
What you think?
This is lax. This is not Rasta. This is lax.
Take him up and make him do the Rasta work. A bird can fly, come in this place, and it's just Rastafari flying that bird to do a work. And we must not limit the power of Rastafari. And when we think of Rastafari, we mustn't think of him in Ethiopia alone. Because if God will only control Ethiopia, what would happen to us in America? What would happen to the people in England? How would we be able to breathe fresh air all around the world? Rastafari is everywhere because God is an international God. So we wanted to understand the cause of the Rastafarian, that we are here to make the world a better place through music, through songs, through love, through unity. And we will do all the good we can for all the people we can, in every way we can, as long as we can. So I would have to say, free the people. Africa for the Africans. When that is accomplished, then we burn all guns.
Exactly.
And all evil weapons and bring back the earth to a peaceful place as it was. And the springs of joy and happiness and kindness and love and unity shall flow across the universe as the waters cover the sea. Because the peace and love must cover this earth as the waters cover the sea.
God judgment must return to righteousness. Aye. Peace and love. Judgment must return to righteousness, and all the upright in all shall see and follow. I see. Yeah. We'll seal it with one more thing, last one. Cause we want the perfect balance, which is an empress. Because the king Haile Selassie was crowned with Empress Wazira Menin. The only king that was crowned with a woman, with the Empress. The perfect balance. You know what I mean? Alpha and Omega. That is a perfect balance. I
Thanks and praise unto John Rastafari. And I tried in the United States to help my sister tell them about Rastafari because I know that Rastafari is the true and living Jah. Jah come to conquer death and hell. Jah can't die. People say Emperor Haile Selassie die. I know it is a lie because this man come this time to conquer death and hell. Coming from the line of Melchizedek,
sure.
coming right down to David and Bathsheba. And no Satan nor devil could never sit in the throne of David. Nothing can go like that. Because right now, they say this is not on his throne, and I know no one can sit in the
No
throne.
one can sit
Everyone
in
have to
King
just keep
Solomon throne.
watching the throne,
The
although they are
225th
scheming
king.
what they can get out of it.
No one can
But
sit on
I
that
know
throne
they
again.
can't sit in the throne of David.
Them not
King
Revelation 5
Alpha,
tell I
Queen
that.
Omega, this day. For Jah loveth the gates of Zion, wherein all the dwelling of Jacob.
Jacob.
And I know King Elias Selassie is the ancient king of Iration, and Lord King Alpha and Queen Omega,
Mega.
the beginning without an end, the first and forever. Prince and princess must tread
Shout
out
out to
of
Baba
Egypt.
Egypt.
Ethiopia shall stretch
Stretch
forth
forth
her
and
hand
learn to
unto Jah
Jah.
and until this day and forever. Give thanks and praise unto Jah Rastafari.
See. Yeah man. So I go seal up this reading and say everything I reset. I reach 9. Yeah, I seen that is the highest number. So everything I reset. You know what I mean? We don't no confusion. Who is Haile Selassie the first emperor of Ethiopia? Haile of himself, the conquering line of China. There is no, there is no, there, there is no other. What I said then, this is a theocracy. This is the omnipresent and the omniabsent. You can't say that dwell in the flesh, come manifest amongst mankind. You know what I mean? Prince of Peace, wonderful counselor. You know what I mean? His Majesty is 5'5". Revelation 5'5". So as me I say, everything I reset. You know the blue is the color blue. When I say about the color blue, it is a balanced color. It balance out all of the color. And you put blue with any color, you get a nice color. Everything I reset. Yeah, everything I reset right now. The elements, the earth, everything I reset right now. And we are going to 7 years of lamentation. So you have to know which side you're on. Yeah, because the demon is rising. There's always going to be a villain and a hero. And so the demon reset himself as well. So the hero have to reset himself just like the earth have to reset himself. Yeah, I saying? Because there's always going to be a battle with good and evil. See? So, no for we now gonna make it back home through River Jordan. No for we are gonna dead around here. No for we now go bury under the cold ground. No for the youth them go change them ways and change them pigmentation and change them DNA and start worship the wrong deity. You know what I mean? And start do all kind of fornication and abomination things, which is not of Alpha and Omega. You know what I mean? Man, woman, and child. That is the Trinity. The Trinity is man, woman, and child, you know. Not man, man, or woman, woman. It's man, woman, and child. That's the Trinity. You know what I mean? So we do give thanks, and we give thanks again for this reasoning, the coronation, the 90th anniversary of His Majesty. And we give thanks for health and strength and daily substances. Give thanks for life. You know what I mean? Give thanks to the life source. Give thanks to the air. Give thanks to the water. Give thanks to the breeze. You know what I mean? Give thanks to the skies, the stars, and the moon. Saying, yeah, we must reconstruct our and I meditation and know that God is within I and I. We not look out ourselves for God. We not look out our flesh. We not deal with no illusion. Black man, king man come, and I'm kingly character. And that is Haile Selassie the first, the conquering line of the tribe of Judah. Solomon, the dynasty of Shina Sheba, the Ark of the Covenant is in Aksum City. Addis, Aksum City. Aksum is the most ancient city, one of the most ancient cities on the earth right now. Queen of Sheba ruins in Aksum. Yeah, I seen. So when you know when enough on one holidays, when you forgot them place there, when you forgot Aksum, when you forgot Lalabella, you know, if you take a holiday there, stop going to white man country, go spending the pounds and the US dollars. Yeah, I seen. And I talk about Africa Sweet, you know what I mean, River Nile, beautiful rivers, Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, you know what I mean, Malawi, Lake Tana, you know what I mean, all of the in Ghana, from the west to the north to the south, you know what I mean, Africa awaits its creators. That is my message to the item. This everything have to reset. The Rasta man is the right tradition. See, not change from them time. The ark, the audience is the audience of the Ark of the Covenant is the audience of the Rasta man. Love thyself as thy neighbor. Peace and love unto all, regardless of race or creed. That is the Rastaman philosophy. One love. Give thanks and praise. Blessed love.